Hey there and welcome to Scandal Steep. There were moments when Johnny Gill wondered if he ever truly belonged. The backstage whispers, the sideways glances, it all made him feel like the outsider crashing someone else's reunion. He'd hear the subtle jabs, the jokes that weren't quite jokes. People close to the group, like Sandra and others in their inner circle, sometimes hinted that he was too moody, too serious. Not quite the right fit for a group that had grown up together, laughed together, and struggled their way into stardom from Boston's tough streets. Johnny never said much about it at the time. He mostly listened. He was the newcomer, after all. But years later, Bobby Brown, the group's most infamous wild child, surprised him with a moment of raw honesty. "Man, I was jealous of you," Bobby admitted. "When I watched you sing, I just kept thinking, damn." That kind of confession held weight. This wasn't just any group. New Edition were R&B royalty, selling out stadiums, dominating charts, and shaping the very mold of what a boy band could be. But behind the glitz, behind the headlines and historic performances, was chaos. And when that chaos nearly tore the group apart, it was Johnny Gill who stepped in, not just as a replacement for Bobby Brown but as the group's saving grace. He wasn't just the new guy. He was the lifeline. Ralph Tresvant once opened up about how rough things had gotten, how the record label kept nudging him to go solo, how the pressures of holding the group together were beginning to suffocate him. They needed someone to bring stability, maturity, and vocal power. Johnny brought all three. But what did he get in return? Despite his contributions, Johnny often found himself cut out of key deals, left in the shadows of New Edition's legacy. He might have helped save the group, but Hollywood never made room for him in its version of the fairy tale. He was the voice they needed, the soul they leaned on, but too often, he was left behind. New Edition's journey spans over 4 decades, filled with legendary moments, dramatic lows, and undeniable influence. Formed in Boston in 1978, they rose through the ranks during the golden age of the 80s, delivering hit after hit and setting the stage for future acts like Boyz II Men, Backstreet Boys, and NSYNC. Their success wasn't just about catchy songs and synchronized dance moves, they were reshaping the very definition of a boy band. Yet, by 1985, the cracks in their unity were starting to show. Bobby Brown, the group's electrifying and unpredictable showman, began drifting. He clashed with management, skipped rehearsals, and showed up late to performances. He wanted more freedom, more edge, more attention. Eventually, the group made a tough call: Bobby had to go. Publicly, it was presented as Bobby branching out to pursue a solo career. But in truth, he was quietly pushed out. The group's bubblegum pop image no longer suited him, and he knew it. He wanted to express himself in a way the group's squeaky clean image didn't allow. Still, even without Bobby, New Edition was in trouble. Their boyish charm was starting to feel outdated. The fans were growing up, and so were they. They needed a new sound, something deeper, more mature. Meanwhile, Bobby was blowing up as a solo artist. His raw, rebellious energy made him a superstar. The other members took note. Ricky Bell, Michael Bivins, and Ronnie DeVoe branched off to form Bell Biv DeVoe. Their debut album Poison in 1990 became a New Jack Swing staple, selling over 4 million copies. Ralph Tresvant and Johnny Gill each released successful solo projects, earning platinum plaques of their own. Despite these separate successes, the group reunited for a performance at the 1990 MTV Video Music Awards, an explosive moment that featured all 6 members, including Bobby Brown, delivering a remix of Bell Biv DeVoe's Word to the Mother. It was a taste of the unity fans had been craving. But this reunion wasn't just a feel-good moment, it was a turning point. Bell Biv DeVoe's rise had proven there was life after New Edition. And Johnny Gill? He'd already proven himself too. Unlike the rest of the group, Johnny wasn't a teen sensation molded by the music industry. He was a grown man with a grown voice, a powerful baritone that came from deep within. Before joining New Edition, he already had a solo career and had released duets with singer Stacey Lattisaw. He wasn't jumping around in matching outfits or sporting high-top fades. He was singing soul, real soul. And for a while, it seemed like he might not fit. But he did. Perfectly. At the time, Ralph Tresvant was still considering going solo, something that worried their label to no end. But in a surprising twist, Ralph decided to stay, and Johnny was added to the lineup anyway. It created a dynamic the group had never seen before: 2 powerhouse lead vocalists, both capable of commanding the spotlight. And just like that, the boys became men. Their 1988 album Heartbreak wasn't just a commercial success, it was a declaration. With tracks like If It Isn't Love, Can You Stand the Rain, and Boys to Men, New Edition stepped into a new era. These songs weren't kid stuff anymore. They were emotionally rich, vocally complex, and undeniably grown. Johnny's voice gave the tracks a kind of gravity the group had never had before. He didn't just sing, he testified. Heartbreak went on to sell over 2 million copies in the US alone, earning critical acclaim and fan adoration. But even with all that, Johnny still felt like an outsider. He wasn't in the early photos. He hadn't come up through the talent shows, the school gym performances, or the Boston grind. He didn't share in their childhood memories or inside jokes. He was respected, yes, but not idolized. And as the group splintered into solo projects and side groups again, Johnny quietly held his ground. He was the anchor, steady, consistent, often overlooked. One of New Edition's greatest weaknesses has always been their leadership or lack thereof. Despite their mountain of hits, internal conflicts and behind-the-scenes drama often kept them from fully capitalizing on their legacy. The 2017 Bet biopic reignited public interest in the group, introducing their story to a whole new generation. But it also unearthed some deeply rooted issues, particularly the infighting and confusion over who really owned the rights to the group's name. Soon, tensions flared. Johnny Gill and Ralph Tresvant were rumored to have filed for trademark rights without informing the others. The rest of the group, Ronnie, Ricky, Mike, and even Bobby, weren't happy. Publicly, it seemed like a betrayal. Privately, it was even messier. Mike Bivins expressed frustration. "They're trying to take the name," he said. "It's like we built this thing together. We all need to be in agreement." Documents revealed that the trademark filing dated back to 2013. Whether it was an oversight or a calculated move remains unclear, but the damage was done. Johnny and Ralph maintained that they were just trying to protect the brand. Others felt blindsided.